In YouTube land, Robert Hamm here with Robert Hamm Photography. Today we are continuing our conversation and the roll review of my first 100 shots. Of course, this was roll 1, and you remember I'm calling the cartridges rolls because it's funny. You should laugh. So roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we are now up to roll 6, and this is using the big beautiful TL70 by MiNT camera. They sent this to me for review, and I'm having an absolute blast with it. So that's the camera that I'm using. And why wouldn't I be having a blast with it? I have got this thing down solid, man. I got some great shots coming out of here, and I cannot wait to show them to you. Now, this roll here was all about shadows and light. I wanted to just play with shadows and light a little bit and just see what I was going to get and try to develop some reference images. Now, we'll remember that back in roll 4, I developed reference images, and in roll 5, I showed off all kinds of cool images from those reference. And when you're working with a camera and developing a reference image, what it means is you're developing an eyeball for what the camera's actually doing. Now, interestingly enough, in this case, I have enough knowledge in here that I was, in a lot of times, going fast instead of just sitting back and relaxing. But I still got some really cool shots. And let's look at them in the order that they appeared. Okay, so we got 52, 53. So I gave away a couple of shots. And the first few images off of this roll really were just here and there. So they're more like tankers. First of all, that was a total accident. I took that one. I'd already given a shot away. I gave 51 away, which was the first shot of this roll. Outside, no exposure compensation. Next time, a hard flash flare. So I was too close. I got a hard flash flare. There it is. You know, it's not the first time I've encountered flash flare or just flashback. You know, but I was really close, and that's to be expected. Anytime you're going to be close using a flash at nighttime, you definitely want to use some kind of modifier if you're shooting close. If you're not, you don't need to worry about it so much. Even outdoors during the daytime, if you're going to use flash, you're going to want to modify it somehow. And you guys know how I do it. I just use a light sphere dome, the cloud dome by Gary Fong or something like that, because it works great. And you just want to kind of diffuse the light a little bit. That was just too much. And the TL70 is cool because it gauges output of the flash by how far you're actually zoomed in and out. So it augments or diminishes. But even here in this dark, it was totally black outside, and you can just see that it was just too much. Okay, so those two things were fun. This one was an accident. I gave one away. The other one, they wanted me to take the picture, and I took it. Having fun. They were some kiddos, my kid and his friend, just the way that it was. And let's see if we can get continuing. I like to show these in order. You guys know I like to show them in order. Okay, so the next shot that we're going to get is at the park, and this is where, like, speeding up and slowing down. Obviously, I got it correct, but, you know, look what I did right here. For whatever reason, I had it from the last night shooting, positive exposure. I had it on add a stop, make it brighter instead of negative. Now, I knew shooting in mixed shade, I needed negative exposure compensation. I just forgot to do it. So there you go. Learn from my mistake, guys. This is the way it should have been. What an excellent photo. This is the way I took it because I wasn't paying attention. And you know what? Here's the cool part. Because I'll write all this stuff down. I wrote right. You guys can laugh at me in the comments. Because I write all the information down, I can very easily go back and remember. But if you're not writing down your information, in the Army we'd call it a dope book. If you're not writing down your dope information, then that means if you looked at this 2 weeks, you may have forgotten that you forgot about the EC, right? And you might think that the camera was messed up. It's not. It's just me. Anyways, this is what the image was supposed to look like. Now I'm going to bring this one closer because we got to look at that, okay? We got to actually look at this. Look at this image right here. Let's get it focused there. You can see all kinds of detail. We're in mixed shadows. We've got dark shadows. You can see the black or dark shadowy spots. You can see the highlights. You can even see the reflection in the water. You can see some of the red bridge in the background, and you can see straight through that water. Look at the detail in my boys' faces. This was at f5.6, mind you. f5.6 with negative exposure compensation. No neutral density filter. Okay, so here's something else. Originally, I thought when I got this camera, I would have to have the ND filter set in order to shoot with it. And when MiNT sent it out as a unit for me to review, it did not arrive with the filter kit. So I was like, oh man, I was kind of bummed. But then I'm so glad that they didn't, because I would have used the ND filters in order to get all these outdoor daytime shots, and I would not have learned how easy it is to get a good shot. What I have done is placed my kiddos in mixed shade. I'm shooting in an environment that, although they're hot, right? It's a hot spot with light. The environment overall is darker in this area. I'm under the canopy of a tree. So I'm outdoors in the daytime shooting with an f5.6 on the TL70. I have tried so many times to get this shot with the Mini 90, and it requires external flash to do it because the aperture only goes as small as a 12.3 or as wide as a 12.3. Here, the aperture goes as wide as an f5.6. Guys, if we did the math, 61 divided by 5, that's about 12. That's like an 11 millimeter wide circle. I mean, that's crazy. It's bigger than a dime. That's how big the aperture is. Guys, if you can't tell that excites me, then I don't know what. Continuing on, here are two images. This is the first one that I took, and it may look better for you here on the actual screen, but this is the second one, and I actually end up preferring the second one. But here was a great opportunity to look and see at two different things: negative exposure compensation and no exposure compensation. So what I want to show you here, and when I talk about reading light, this is why it's so important. I'm just going to hold them all vertically. You want to read light. See, here we're in number 55. Let's see if we can get this to focus for you. In 55, come on, camera, focus. It does this to me because I'm trying to do something. In 55, you can see that the image itself is in mixed lighting, hard mixed lighting. In 56, you can see that I'm in deep shadow. Okay, I'm still in deep shadow in 57, but which exposure do you prefer? Now, that may come to taste, but I prefer number 57 because out of the two, I think it looks much more natural. I think it looks great, you know? And I got to be in the photo too with my little boy. But you can see the water that's dripping right there from the little waterfall. You can see the individual stones very easily. We lose a lot here, and that's because I'm using the negative exposure compensation. So learn to read the light, and you're going to get great shots. Let's go to 58. Now, I have highlighted this photo. This is by far, probably my absolute favorite so far. Look at this. Now, I'm in the same area as this shot. Let's go back to this one. Look how dark this shot actually is. In number 56, that's how dark it is. I'm in a shaded area with bamboo all over the place and thick Japanese maples, guys. It's crazy. Now, all I did was in this shot, there, you can see my fingers on the little waterfall. The waterfall is actually right past here, just a little bit lower. You can even see some of that red bridge from the other one. Look at this. Look at the detail. I'm shooting up into the canopy. Their faces are at least as dark as this, and I'm using f5.6. No exposure compensation, just f5.6. And look at this. We get the light rays coming through. They're absolutely glowing, and we get detail. I'm speechless at this point. I am absolutely speechless. This shot is amazing. Continuing on, I was amazed when I got that shot. But these last two shots, I didn't use as much of my brain as I should have. Okay, so look, we're in direct subject shade, backlit canopy. So they were in shade. The backlit was a canopy. You guys know. Why didn't I just use my setting for mixed shade? Okay, look how much nicer it would have come out. Okay, but even as such, it's still a nice image. It actually looks a little more blown out on the film than it does on the actual Instax. Nice detail, great bokeh, still a really cool image. I love this one. And now that I've taken it, I'll know next time I'm out there what I need to do. And then this one, I should have used my same brain. I should have used negative exposure compensation right there, mixed or indirect shade. You know, I had the knowledge, I didn't use it, and I got a shot that in this case, although cute, just isn't really that great. So learn from my mistake. I've been talking about reading light, but guess what, guys? Even I make mistakes, and that's okay. I want to show you all of these images because I want you to realize that although I've got great shots, you know, I bomb the shots too. I mess them up too. You know, I mean, it just happens. So I want you to have a real expectation of what this film can do, specifically paired with this camera, and I think I'm being able to bring that to you. Guys, I'm having an excellent time with this camera. I hope that you are enjoying my adventures. I want to remind you to keep watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I want to thank you for watching. Let you know I'll catch you on the flip side.